Hey, Void. How you doing? Now, when I did my review for Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, I gave it a better review than I was expecting to, having softened on it over the years. But I also knew another animal's around the corner in Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Another one I remembered not caring much for, and I think only having seen a couple of times. Well, it's been a long time, so I give it another watch, and I still don't like this one. Which is a sad thing to say. I really like the series overall. This is definitely the low point. And watching it with more of a critical eye, I was able to pick out a lot of the things that bothered me about it, which I don't think I could have put into words well before. So, first off, the plot. So everything we've been building up with over the last 3 movies, the Dream Warriors into the Dream Master, and then her son, let's just pick that up and set that aside. That doesn't have anything to do with this film. Apparently the original script treatments had John Doe, our mystery kid, actually being the child, his name is Jacob, from the previous one, but chronologically that doesn't make sense, and they kind of abandoned that idea, and there's no hint of it, so I'm just going to assume it's not. Okay. So, as for the plot, I don't even really understand what's happening in the beginning, to be honest, but I'll do my best here. So, John Doe is trying to escape Springwood. This is set, annoyingly, the movie says 10 years in the future. That's what's being set. So rather than just giving a date, it just says 10 years in the future, weirdly. Most things will do something and say 10 years later, but no, this is 10 years in the future. From now? Anyway. Pretty much, Springwood has been devastated by Freddy, because I guess no one's opposing him anymore. Anyway, this is following the last Elm Street child, because I guess Freddy can just go in any person's Elm Street child's dream now, I guess. I'm getting ahead of myself on my complaints. Anyway, he's leaving Springwood to try to get away, he supposes. He's not sure because he's lost his memory. Meanwhile, Springwood has pretty much devolved into a bunch of, people barely holding it on through psychosis because, all their kids are gone. Anyway, John Doe gets picked up on the street by some cops and brought to a halfway drug rehabilitation house where he befriends, meets a couple other teens, including the stoner son of a senator, and then a martial artist girl who was probably abused by her father. Not probably, they pretty much almost explicitly say it. And a kid who was abused by his mother to the point where now he has to wear a hearing aid because his ears are damaged. Then there's a female counselor who's kind of keeping an eye on this group, and then she decides to try to help John Doe figure out his past and ends up taking him back to Springwood, with the kids hiding out in the back of the van. So no kids have been brought back to Springwood, and Freddy's getting play again as he stalks those kids, but his real goal is to escape Springwood and begin terrorizing a new community by infiltrating the dreams of his child. Now, the movie halfway pretends that the John Doe might be his son, but right away they're showing flashbacks of him having a daughter, so you know it's not that. It's pretty obvious who it's going to be. Anyway, and that leads to a climactic fight between his daughter, going into the dreams, pulling Freddy out, like they did in the first one, and then fighting him. Oh, and there's dream demons. I don't know how to factor that in. There's just dream demons. The whole last sequence was originally done in 3D, with the character actually putting on 3D glasses. But the treatment I have does not have a 3D effect. I guess the dream demons supposedly found the most evil person possible to give them dream powers, which is how Freddy got his powers, I guess. Now, the dream door thing back in number 4 was weird and out of nowhere, but it was cryptic and kind of hinted at something more going on about him guarding his door of nightmares. Cool. I was on board with that. This one just has weird demon sperm flying around the screen, talking like this. Yes, Freddy, come with us. It's... Why? And I guess when they defeat Freddy, they explode out. The little tadpole things pretty much just shrug and just go away to find someone else. Okay. Now, what works in this film? Well, we see some of Freddy's past, which you didn't really need, but is interesting enough. I'm okay with that. Alice Cooper playing his father in a wildly unrecognizable role was cool. The concept of Freddy having a daughter and showing some of his family, okay, I'm interested. I'm on board with that part. The line, "Every town has an Elm Street," also down with. But that's about all the nice things I can say for this one. First off, body count's way down here. In Nightmare on Elm Street, you want a bunch of creative kills. You get 3. And these are some of the lamest ones out there. I am sorry. But Freddy flying on a broom, making Wicked Witch of the West references, and then doing this obnoxious video game thing, which is like more Looney Tunes than... I mean, Freddy always had the comedic kills, sure. But when he got a guy pogoing down the hallway, bouncing off the walls, this is like, come on. Him attacking the deaf kid, okay. That was cool. That was okay. There's him pretending doing some big miming shout things behind him. I was on board with that. That kill was okay. And the Heights kill, again, a little too Looney Tunes, but not bad. Okay. The main problem I really have with this is how disrespectful this movie is to all the lore they've built up to this point. They disregard everything that they've set up, including the way the world works for Nightmare on Elm Street. And that's the problem I have. First off, for some reason, whenever Freddy kills someone, they vanish now. Why? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing like that ever happened in the past. So, okay. I mean, the people in town having no kids and that was okay. But making Springwood look like a rural community just because the kids got depopulated, it does not look like Springwood. That's minor. The problem I have is how Freddy works in this world. It doesn't match up with any of their established movies. First off, he's just going into whoever's dream he wants. I mean, number 4 made it a big point of him. He needed people to a connection to other people to get to them. I will say Freddy vs. Jason kind of expanded on behind that if someone needs to know about him and be afraid of him for him to affect them. Okay, I can accept that as a way of him getting around the whole needing other people to be pulled in, because in this case they need to pull him in so he can get scared of him. That's just a more advanced version. Here, he just can go into whoever's dream he wants. Just cause. Likewise, the Dream Warriors from before, one of their powers in particular is to pull people into the dreams. This one character says, "Oh, I'm just gonna go into the dream into his dream and help." Just like, how can you do that? And then someone else just does it. Anyone could enter anyone's dream, I guess. It just completely makes what Kristen's powers were pretty mundane. Because everyone can, I guess, go into dreams. So, Freddy can do whatever he wants. The heroes can do whatever they want. It completely takes away any build-up and stakes that have been brought up to this point. Also, when we last saw Freddy, he was pretty much down and out because of the events of the last movie. He had already lost all the souls he had obtained, so he has that very little power. Then so he had to do the cheap shot of attacking the Dream Master's child. This one, he's killed everyone. There's no master. What happened to Alice? What happened to Jacob? He won. So this movie just this he just is now in charge. I don't know. There's a lot of this movie that wasn't working. I'm trying to remember everything. Freddy's makeup in it just isn't as good. The gore effects are fine, but the kills around them are just lame, so I was on board with the concept of Freddy Gaviadati, but the actress here is just not bringing it. She's very flat for what she's doing. Just it definitely just seems like she's just reading lines rather than interacting with the characters. The kids, they're doing fine. Their acting is fine, but for Freddy's daughter, it's like that's a pivotal role. You need to bring something to that, and she's just not doing it. Ugh, this one hurt. This one hurt. So, and now demon worm things are the reason Freddy got dream powers. Just cause. That's, I don't know why that's there. Just, I think it's just so that when they did the 3D sequence, they could have something else pop out at the screen, but they've heard of a lot of these snake things, which a couple times they look like that, but usually when they're just flying around the screen, I'm sorry, they look like demon sperm. This movie doesn't even try to build any kind of suspense. It's just the kills are lame. The execution just falls flat. It's as this one hurt. Just they threw out the entire rule book on how Freddy works. So this one bothers me. 2 MacGuffins, man. That's how much this one bothers me. I can't give it better than 2 MacGuffins. I think I went down to 5 for one of them. That was like maybe 6. I can't remember. But this one's 2. Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare is not doing it for me. Yeah, I think I've got the rant out. I feel like there was more I had to complain about, but the main point was all the lore they ignore. And the continuity they just shrug at. I mean, Friday the 13th, you're used to that. They play fast and loose with their continuity the whole time. But when all the other movies build one into the other, like Nightmare was doing for the last 3 movies, and this one just being 10 years in the future, I don't know, man. This one came out in 91, I think. And it was like a year or 2 after the last one, so really it does not make sense for even with that time jump. Alice should still be somewhat in the picture, and if not her kid, so it was like there's not even a throwaway line that ties in with her. So there's no explanation of how Freddy came back. I mean, the dog pissing fire was a better explanation than this, where he's just back and in charge. And despite being in charge, he's really weak. He just goes down. Like, his dream power seems lacking. Yeah, okay, that's all I got on that one. Still got one more in this collection. Freddy vs. Jason is not included in here, but I've got that one elsewhere, so I'll be revisiting that after. Probably I'll finish off the Friday the 13th series after I polish off this, but man. I was hoping this one wasn't as bad as I remembered, but now I know still doesn't hold up. Freddy's dead. This movie's dead. See you later, boy.